Because that's one of the things that I've this is a loaded question, but I've kind of really come to the realization that, like, if you say headless CMS to a chief marketing officer, for example, they have no idea what the heck you're talking about.
Yeah.
If you bring it up to a developer, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's cool," right? So, like, are you helping to maybe are you focused on more of that technical content for the development community,
Yeah.
or are you helping them kind of reach, the marketing world?
That's a great question, and it's something that we discuss a lot, and we have tried to build our team around this question actually. And a lot of the time it's both. So clients will say to us, "Hey, we want to talk to," because part now CMOs and marketing and business people within enterprises and large companies, they're very much part of the technology buying process. Whereas maybe 5 to 10 years ago, they were less party to that decision, right? It was always a CTO making that decision, and the marketing team, like it or lump it, as we say in London. You're gonna. This is what we've got, right? But nowadays, CMOs have a more active role. Obviously, marketing teams will come to this, I'm sure, because they're so involved in creating content, digital content at scale for different channels. They have to be involved in that technology selection process. So a lot of our clients say, "Hey, we want some content to be geared towards business people, marketing people who are non-technical, and we also
Mm-hmm.
want some of that technical content to speak to the technical people and the CTOs and who want to know about Jamstack and what GraphQL is and all these other things." And at the same time, we need to, for the non-technical crowd, we need to take those concepts, or maybe even just the concept of headless CMS, as you mentioned, is not easy to grasp for many. We need to take that concept, break it down, explain it in a way that says, "Hey, marketers, here's the benefits you'll get from this technology and how you'll use it on a day-to-day basis. And this is why it's going to be beneficial for you to use in contrast to a more traditional CMS like a WordPress or something like that."
Yeah, it's a similar mission here at Webrick, right? Is like, we really want to build a relationship with marketing,
Yeah.
and if you talk about headless CMS sometimes, so in your worldview, what are the benefits that marketers can really get by using a headless content management system versus a more monolithic one?
Good question. There's a few. I'll try to touch on a couple of them. The first is if you're talking about enterprise companies and large companies who want to produce content for more than just one channel. So for more than just a website and maybe a mobile application. So if they want to produce content that's going to go into their next in-person event, I know maybe not this year, but in maybe next year it'll be in-person events again, where there's like digital signage, that kind of thing. They want to launch an Alexa skills app or something like that, or even just different types of experiences that are not necessarily on the website or a mobile app, which there are plenty of. In vehicle, Teslas now, or almost all new vehicles got in vehicle displays, and you can produce experiences for that. So if you're a company who's looking at those avenues and different channels and saying, "Okay, how do we manage our content so that we can not only increase the amount of content we're going to be producing on our website," because that's another issue. You now need more content on your website than ever before. You need more, whether it's like blog posts or whatever industry you're in. This is true, and it's maybe a separate issue. But that, as well as all the other channels, you need a content management system that's going to be able to handle all of those channels without duplicating your work, right? So
Mm-hmm.
traditionally, if you wanted to make content or publish content on a new channel or new device, like maybe an Apple Watch or a Alexa, you need a different software for that, right? Like WordPress isn't built to handle that. You need something. You need to buy this product and that product. And again, similarly, if you want to do something for digital signage, you may go and specifically buy digital signage software just for that specific use case. What Headless CMS does is it allows you to keep all your content in the same place, all your content for all your channels, is all in the same place, and it actually delivers that content via APIs to any. I suppose at this point, APIs, it doesn't really matter what they are, but you just know that it can deliver APIs to any. You can deliver them to any channel or touch point. So whether it's an Apple Watch or a voice-activated device or website, it can deliver that content anywhere, and without you having to duplicate that content or re-input it into a different software. It's all there within the headless CMS, and that headlessness means that it doesn't have that connection to the front end. Like again, if you use WordPress again, the content it has a head on it because it's linked to that WordPress template. I think most marketers are very familiar with WordPress templates or themes. You can't really take that content out and put it somewhere else, right? It's coupled with it. So decoupled
Mm-hmm.
is coupled with that. What Headless CMS does is it decouples that content. It takes it away from the website template and says, hey, it can still go to the website template, but it can also go absolutely anywhere else. So it allows marketers to say, okay, great. So we can just produce content now at scale, and we'll figure out where it's going to go after.
Bingo.
Without any restrictions, limitations, and having to buy additional software. So that's one huge benefit. Another benefit, if it doesn't escape my mind, I got way too deep into that. I forgot my second point. So
no, well,
it'll come back to me, I'm sure.
You did a great job of, just kind of outlining, what it is like to publish content via API versus, the more traditional approach where you have to, you're stuck on a platform, right? Yeah. So I always try to like approach it. It's like deplatforming your content, right? Like you're not stuck with this same antiquated tool. You can put your content anywhere.
Exactly.
One of the things that I've been really trying to preach as well, and you might enjoy this, is that you can get rid of, what's the best way to describe it? You can basically turn your content into a component-based model versus a pages-based model. So even if you only publish content on a website, you can kind of break out of having to deal with themes and templates and a very rigid structure to your content. And instead, you can treat your content in components. And then you can, on the fly, you can create landing pages faster, microsites faster. You can do all more, you can really get a lot more granular with your content.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Which again helps marketers. But the minute you say API, like what I've really struggled with is like, how do you get around the API side of it, right? Because that's where like you lose people, right? Very quickly. That's
why I didn't want to sort of start defining what it is. I mean, there's no point. And really, the best way is to just leave it at that and say, there's a technology called APIs, which allows your content to go anywhere. That's the best way to do it. I think everybody can understand that concept. What you said is fantastic and really, really important. And it links to what I forgot. So it reminded me. So, this whole sort of granular or you called it sort of components, right? I like to think of it as like building blocks. So you can have building blocks of content that can then go anywhere. So if your marketing team, again, if you want to launch 10 microsites next year, right? So they need content for all these microsites. Typically, you need to rewrite that all over again, get it approved by the right departments, approved by editors as well, that kind of thing, and then get it out there. It can be a slow process. With a Headless CMS, what you can do, because it's like this sort of content repository or content hub where your content can live, all your content can live, you can say, okay, this block of content, which talks about our specific service number 2, one of our services number 2, whatever that company may be, we've written this, approved it, it's there, it's 300 words worth of content. Legal likes it, branding likes it, everyone likes it. And so it lives in the Headless CMS. So now whenever we launch a microsite that's about service number 2, that block is there to go. And when we're going to launch our in-person event with digital signage, we can take from that content and put it there. And so you can use these sort of reusable blocks or building blocks of content to, like you mentioned, build microsites a lot faster, landing pages, and pretty much any experience very, very quickly. And again, because it's in the same place, the Headless CMS, and it can go anywhere, there's no restrictions on it. So it's like having building blocks that can go anywhere and build anything, really. While being approved, already pre-approved, pre-edited. There's no going through that whole workflow again.